How to define intercompany transaction in accounts receivable? Intercompany transactions are those transactions that takes place between two or more entities of the same group of company. So the receivable of one entity would the payable of the another entity. All intercompany transactions are eliminated before preparing the final balance sheet of the group company. Explain about accounts receivable in accounting. It is money receivable from sundry debtors for sales made or services rendered. What is reconciliation statement and investment banking? Reconciliation statement is formerly known as a tool which is used to reconcile the bank passbook and our passbook. Investment banking is an instrument which is used by the financial organization to take a better investment decision like issuing IPO stocks, bonds, etc. What are the 3 golden rules of accounts? The 3 golden rules of accounts are: personal accounts, debit the benefit receiver, credit the benefit giver. Real accounts, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Nominal accounts, debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. What are the goals of accounts receivable? As sales occurs, every customer is not able to pay the bills. That's where the accounts receivable occurs. The goal of accounts receivable is to maintain, summarize, and record all the transactions related to unpaid account or future collections or accounts receivable. What is the table that is used for aging bucket report? What is the main purpose of this report? Time periods you define to age your debit items. Aging buckets are used in the aging reports to see both current and outstanding debt items. For example, you can define an aging bucket that includes all debit items that are 1 to 30 days past due. Normal table used for this report, that is less than 30 days, 30 days to 60 days, 60 to 90 days, 90 to 180 days, and greater than 180 days. What is auto invoice? What are the setup steps for auto invoice? A powerful tool to import and validate transaction data from other financial systems and create invoices, debit memos, and credit memos and on-account credits. Setup steps: define the line ordering rules, define the grouping rules, attach the line ordering rules to the grouping rules. Which type of assets should be capitalized and when expense out? Which type of assets expense out or when? Assets are things which provides service for long duration. It may be 3 to 4 years or even more than that of time period. These items capitalized in our account books and charge depreciation in every year according to these rates. It may be 20, 10 or 100. What is reconciliation? You should have recorded in your cash books all amounts you have actually received and payments you have actually made. However, the cash books may be incomplete as your bank may have put extra transactions through your account such as bank fees or interest charges, direct debits payments, and direct credit receipts. Doing a regular bank reconciliation will allow you to take into account any extra transactions your bank puts through your account. Check and record any errors or omissions. By regularly doing a bank reconciliation, say monthly, you can be more confident that your records contain all the information you need to prepare your income tax return and activity statements. What is the difference between finance and accounts? Most of the companies having different sections like finance and accounts. Why they are not had only single section, neither finance nor accounts? Finance, it is a branch of economics that studies the management of money and other assets. In simpler terms, it can be defined as the commercial activity of providing funds and capital. It addresses questions like what funds are required by the organization, how they can be raised, how they have to be allocated, etc. Accounts. It is the occupation of maintaining and auditing records and preparing financial reports for a business. Accounts provides quantitative information about finances. It addresses issues like what amount of funds have been allocated to various activities, how the bookkeeping is being done, etc. Both functions are distinct, but complementary to each other. Finance and accounts are highly specialized and distinct areas, and hence most organizations have a separate section of finance and accounts. Have you been asked to prepare a bill for services? What information should be included in the bill? Service provider details, that is, organization name and address. Service receiver details, that is, organization's name and address. Details of the service, that is, for example, advertisement charges, dying charges, tax, that is, service tax on total chargeable amount, and cess or surcharge on service tax. And if there is any expenses or abatements incurred by the service receiver, less all those things and calculate service tax and the cess for the balance amount. Explain what is factoring. Selling the rights to the amounts owing by debtors to the finance company for an agreed amount which is less than the figure at which they are recorded in the accounting books, because the finance company needs to be paid for providing the service. Explain how is a journal entry recorded. Journal entries are recorded on a double entry system, that is, debit and credit concept. In order to record a journal entry, the following steps need to be followed. Enter the journal entry number. Enter the date of transaction. Enter the debit item as per the golden principles of accountancy. Enter the corresponding GL folio number. Enter the debit amount. Enter the credit item as per the golden principles of accountancy. Enter the amount in the credit column. Provide a brief description of the transaction. Leave a single line before next transaction. What is total flow of accounts receivable? Flow of accounts receivable should be in proportion to accounts payable, that is, in terms of ratio 2:1. How important does accounts receivable for small business and why? Accounts receivable help small businesses by providing short-term liquidity and also continued sales on credit to provide the much needed continuity for small businesses.